Hello dear all, welcome again to the next module of Java programming. Today we will take the topic control statements in Java. Control statements, a statement which will control the execution of a program. Control statements are used to control the flow of execution of the program. When we write down any of the program, we need to control the flow of execution of that program by using some conditions and all. And this execution order depends on the supplied data values and the conditional logic. This conditional logic is also called as conditions which user provides. In Java program, control structure is divided into three parts, that is selection statements, iteration statements and jump statements. It is further classified into many statements, like selection statements are categorized into two parts, that is if statement and switch case statement. Iteration statements are again divided into three parts, that is while loop, do while loop and for loop. Iteration statements are also called as looping or loop statements. Then we have jump statements, break and continue. We have written statements also which is supported by Java. First, start with selection statement. Selection statement is also called as decision making statement. Here the decision will be based on the condition. It provides decision making capabilities to the statements. There are two types of selection statements, if statements and switch statement. If statement is used to test the condition. It simply checks the Boolean condition. Boolean condition means either its value should be true or false. There are various types of if statement in Java: simple if else statement, nested if statement and if else if ladder statement. We will start with simple if statement. Simple if statement tests the condition first. It only executes if block if condition is true, and if the condition is false, it will not gives you any output. This is the syntax of if statement. We simply write down if, then within the bracket we need to specify the condition. If that condition is true, then only it will go inside if and it will execute the code. Let us see with an example. I will execute the program on online Java compiler. So, this is online Java compiler, simple if statement. Here the class name is hello world. Within the main function we will declare one variable. Let the variable name is marks is equal to, I have declared a value as 50. Marks value is 50. Now, how this if statement works? If we will write down and within the bracket we will specify the condition marks greater than 100. When we see the condition is true, means here the marks value is 50. We have already initialized this marks variable as 50. So, 50 is greater than 100 or not. So, 50 is not greater than 100. So, this condition is false right now. When we see the output, for example, I want to simply print here pass. Now, you will see here we have a single condition, that is marks greater than 100, and here the marks value is 50. When we see it, the condition is false. So, when we run the program, it will execute but will not gives you any output. In the same way, if I will change the value here from 50 to 150. Now, here you can see the condition is true now. So, when the condition is true and you will execute the program, will run it, you will get an output pass. You can see here the output pass. That is called as simple if statement, where we have a single condition and condition, if the condition is true, then only the if part will execute, and if the condition is false, it will not execute. Then next we have if else statement. So, if else statement, in if else statement it also tests the conditions. It executes if block if the condition is true, otherwise executes the else block. Means here another option is there, if the condition is false, then it will switch to the else block. Now here the syntax of the program is, if you will specify the condition, and if the condition is true, this code will execute. If the condition is false, it will go to the else part and then the else code will execute. Again, let us take the example and we will continue the same program of if by if else. Now here, right now the condition is true. I am taking here else also. Now in this else part, I will write down fail. So that is the condition when the condition is false. So here I am writing down fail. Now right now when I execute it, I will get pass as a result because condition is true, 150 is greater than 100. But if I will change it, now you will see that this condition is false now. Marks is greater than 100. The condition is false now because 50 is not greater than 100. So when we run the program, it will give us fail. Why it is giving us fail? Because we are using else part. Else part will execute only when the condition of if statement is false. So that is called as if else statement. Next we have nested if. Now nested if else statement. In nested if statement can contain if or if else statement inside one another. Means here if condition will be there, then within that condition only we will specify another condition. You can simply see the syntax of nested if else statement here. If, then condition 1. If this condition is true, then it will execute first condition. It will check for the second. Now, if the second condition is true, it will execute the second code of a statement, and if the condition is false, it will directly switch to the else part. Again, we will take an example and we will execute the same on the compiler. This is if else. In the same, I am going to use nested if. Nested if means if within if. So, within this if statement, I will be taking one more if statement, if, and I will check one condition, mark if marks greater than 75, then print pass, otherwise fail. So, here again we are taking 150. So, first it will check the first condition. If the first condition is true, then it will go to check for the second condition. If both condition will fulfill, it will gives us the result as pass. You can see the output here, will get pass as a output. Now, here if I am taking first condition as 10, in place of 100 I am taking 10. Now, 150 is greater than 10, sorry, here I am taking 200 for example. Now, the first condition is false. So, let us see it will check second condition or not. If the first condition is false, it will directly switch to the else part. It will not get inside the if, and it will not go to check the second condition again. That is the main role of nested if. Means in nested if both the conditions should be true, then only it will execute the if part, otherwise it will switch to the else part. That is nested if else statement. Next we have else if ladder statement. That is simply a combination of if, nested if and else if statement. If else if statement contain if statement followed by multiple else if statements. It is simply the chain of if else statements that create a decision tree where the program may enter in the block of code where the condition is true or not. We can also define an else statement at the end of the chain. Here we will simply see the syntax of if and else if condition. If, then you will specify the condition. If the condition is true, it will execute the first condition. Then else if, again it will come out from the first statement and it will check for the next statement. Else if, again we are checking the second condition. It will execute when second condition is true, and so on. We will check multiple conditions here in if else if ladder statement. And at last else statement, when no condition is true, then it will directly switch to the else statement. We can have an example of this if else if ladder statement simply if we want to find out the grade of a student, and we simply need to specify multiple conditions, like if marks is greater than 30, then greater than 30 and less than 40, it will be passed with third division. In the same way, the second condition is if the marks is greater than 40 and less than 50, then we will say that it is second division. In the same way, if the marks is greater than 50 and less than 60, then we are saying that it is again second division with good grade. Then marks less than 60, sorry, greater than 60 and less than 70, then first division. In that way, to find out the grade of the student, we can simply use this if else if ladder statement. So these are all selection statements. In the next video, we will see iteration statements, that is also called as looping structure. Thank you.